Alright, check this out. I'm going to be lowering the back end of my 1971 Super Beetle convertible using the adjustment on the torque bar. I've already completed the other side. I've looked at a lot of videos. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Some people ran into issues. I'm not going to be disconnecting this. I'm doing it a different way. So I'll probably do this in a two-part video, one disassembly and one reassembly, and just filming on certain points of the process, not the whole thing. So let's begin. First thing I'm going to do is just clean all these up, remove these bolts as well as that guard, and loosen up the shock, and eventually I'll be replacing the shock as well. Always be careful, and well, let's see how this goes. Okay, so I have removed the shock, I have taken the nuts off of the bolts here, and I have removed the actual bolts. So now I'm going to be pulling this out. I'm going to be taking these nuts out, or the bolts out, and one of the things I have done is I put a jack underneath the thing so it doesn't fall. My goal and what I did on the other side is not to actually drop this, but to actually lift this assembly up higher than the plate. And then that allows me, by loosening that up, it allows me to get the plate past this point on the outside, and that drops it down. When I do that, I'll have my big jack across here and adjusting it, and the bottle jack actually lifting this portion up. That way I'm able to sneak it past, and then eventually once I adjust the swing arm where I want it, and then I can just pull everything back together and drop it back down. So alright, so I'll continue in a bit. So once again, I removed all the nuts, removed those bolts, and I removed the shock. So start disassembling. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so here's a tip. I have my bottle jack supporting and lifting this assembly as needed when I need to jiggle it up or down. The first thing I did was I removed this bolt, allowing me to adjust or move this back end to move these out. So these they're at an angle. So what you have to do is you have to maneuver this whole assembly in order to snake them out, and they do come out. So the first one I do is I remove that one to loosen this bolt out and remove it. Now I'm going to jiggle that hole in order to adjust the plate so I can actually take this bolt right off the back. So once again, as you can see, as soon as I wiggle it, that bolt gets loose from friction. So then I just keep doing it until I'm able to do it. Now I can't do it because I'm holding the phone, but I'll show you the result at the end. So hold on. Alright, and it's out. Once again, adjusting this moves the plate. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it wiggles that alignment of the hole just enough to be able to snake out these bolts right out the back. So now you've removed this from the arm, and what I'll be doing now is actually lifting this whole assembly with that bottle jack till it gets past this bar. Once it gets past that, then I can pull this out and adjust as needed. But when I'll be doing that, I'll have the jack right underneath this plate, not this one, this one. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright, as you can see, I went ahead and am jacking this, the actual bottle jack, causing this to go up, and as you can see, it is separating from there. Just be careful on your brake lines. I'm not disconnecting anything. I didn't have to on the other side. Just be careful and monitor that you're not pulling or stretching something you're not supposed to. As you can see, I firmly put my jack across the bar. That way it doesn't slip out. Once I do that, once I clear this from this, I'm able to get this past this lip right here. But that's when the tension will drop down, and that's when, after that, you'll just lower it slowly with your jack once you get it past that. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue jacking this up, and I'll be back. Alright, so as you can see, I got this jacked up pretty high. I had to reset the bottle jack, so be careful with that. It's at your own risk. I went ahead and am loosening it. As you can see, I'm almost at the point of passing that swing arm out. Once it'll go out, it'll drop past that point, and you'll just have to be manually adjusting you're slowly adjusting it once you get past that point. And having done that, you should be able to, and that should become really loose at the bottom, and then we'll mark it. So I'll be back. Alright, so once again, all I did was I adjusted, I went ahead and was pulling this out, just simply pulling it slowly, keeping the tension on the jack itself until I got past that point, and then I started releasing the pressure on the jack slowly until it started coming down slowly with it. And I knew I already had got past that point, and now this is free. So the tension is gone. I'm going to go ahead and mark where my start point is, and then start adjusting this plate to where I want it. So, alright, I'll be back in a bit once it's lined, marked, and adjusted. Alright. Okay, so I skipped the small part because I got carried away, but what I had to do was, once I released this and pulled this out, I adjusted it to where I want to. As you can see, my original line actually goes about like this. I did one click on this side. So then what I did was, the plate itself hung about this high. So I just grabbed it and basically pulled until, the opposite way, until this went to the back. And then once I did, I hammered this section here in order to push this back in, so it easily just slipped right underneath this plate here. And now what I'll be doing, then what I did was I jacked it up a little to just make sure it's secured under. Now I'm going to be dropping this in and start lining up the bolts, and then we'll go from there. So as you can see, I am releasing the bottle jack, and this, I'm just pushing it down. You remove the tension already, so as you can see there's a gap. The weight of the back end will drop it down. So just go ahead and continue dropping. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just start adjusting this to settle right underneath where I originally had marked at. Then I'll start putting the bolts back in here, securing the cap with a new bushing, and then putting the shock back in, and I should be pretty much done. So, alright. So once again, just wiggled this until I got these bolts in, doing one at a time. And now I'm going to put the plate, so I snug one down on this side. I'm going to go ahead and put the plate down and start adjusting that and putting that together. Then I'll secure everything, put the shock back in, and we'll test and see how low it goes. And hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Alright, later. Alright, so I went ahead and secured everything, tightened everything down, put the new shock in, and I'm going to put the wheel back on and drop the back end, see if I fucked up or if I'm good to go. Alright, I'll show you guys the end result later. Bye.